The release of the JFK files on March 18, 2025, under the President John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Act of 1992, marks a significant disclosure of previously classified documents related to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. These files, totaling approximately 300 cubic feet and including contributions from the CIA, FBI, and other agencies, provide a wealth of new information that researchers and the public can now access. This survey note aims to comprehensively analyze the key findings, focusing on the CIA's involvement, potential connections to the assassination, and related operations, ensuring a thorough examination for historians, researchers, and interested laymen. One of the most striking revelations from the 2025 release is the CIA's involvement in a covert plot to assassinate Fidel Castro, involving collaboration with Mafia mobsters. This plot, detailed in File 157-10014-10242, was known to a select few, including Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, who was briefed on May 7, 1962, about the use of underworld figures to eliminate Castro. 2 days later, on May 9, 1962, Robert Kennedy cautioned the CIA against proceeding without his consultation, though no documentary evidence confirms his awareness of subsequent attempts. On May 10, 1962, he informed FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover, yet neither disclosed this to the Warren Commission, which investigated Kennedy's death. The files suggest a deliberate withholding of this information, with reasons including a cover-up of CIA Mafia collaboration and concerns that revealing the Castro plot might inflame public grief into rash actions. This suppression is evidenced by CIA Director John A. McCone's actions post-assassination. He spent nearly 3 hours with Robert Kennedy on November 22, 1963, at his McLean, Virginia home, claiming Castro's name was not mentioned, yet CIA records show he briefed President Lyndon B. Johnson the next day on Mexico City information linking Cuba to the assassination, which was not presented to the Warren Commission. Further, File 157-10014-10242 includes accounts from attorney Edward P. Morgan, who in January 1967 revealed to journalists the CIA Mafia plot, suggesting it might have backfired against President Kennedy. Morgan, a credible figure with a history as an FBI chief inspector and investigator of Pearl Harbor and Senator Joseph McCarthy, pointed to suspicious circumstances indicating Castro may have retaliated after learning of the attempts on his life. With Morgan's permission, a cautious story was published on March 3, 1967, stating Robert Kennedy may have approved an assassination plot, which then possibly backfired against his late brother. A follow-up on March 7, 1967, detailed a 1963 CIA plan to kill Castro that may have triggered a counterplot by Castro, confirmed through sources including CIA agent William Harvey and mobster John Roselli, both now deceased. John Roselli, involved in the 1960 Castro assassination plot, hinted before his 1976 murder that the same conspirators he recruited may have later arranged Kennedy's assassination. According to File 157-10014-10242, Roselli suggested Castro, believing Kennedy was behind the plot, used the same underworld contacts, with Lee Harvey Oswald as the triggerman. While Roselli provided no specific names or hard evidence, leaving his story speculative, it is supported by curious circumstances, given his ties to Florida Mafia boss Santos Traficante and Havana underworld figures. This adds a layer of complexity, suggesting potential Mafia involvement that was previously less documented. Another significant finding is the CIA's AMWORLD operation, detailed in File 104-10332-10023. This covert effort, reviewed by ARRB staffer Michelle Combs in February 1998, aimed to support Cuban exile groups under Manuel Artemé Buesa's control, focusing on propaganda and paramilitary efforts to overthrow Fidel Castro. Based in Costa Rica for propaganda, Nicaragua for paramilitary activities, and Miami for operational support, AmWorld provided financial and technical aid but did not participate directly in daily operations, with Artemé managing recruitment, training, and deployment. The operation, post-Bay of Pigs, sought to unite exile groups for attacks on Cuba but did not establish a government in exile, failing to achieve its goals. This secrecy and timing raise questions about its potential implications for the Kennedy assassination, given the broader context of anti-Castro activities. The files also provide new details on the CIA's pre-assassination files on Lee Harvey Oswald, as seen in files 104-103, 32-10023, and 104-10337-10001. Oswald's file number 0351164, established circa 1960, consolidated press clippings and reports from agencies like the State Department and FBI, focusing on his defection to the USSR in 1959 and activities after returning in 1962. The pre-assassination file, consisting of 34 documents, 124 pages, included items like Department of State telegrams, FBI reports, and press clippings, with only 11 originating from the CIA. The Office of Security, OS, began maintaining records in 1959 due to counterintelligence concerns, managed by Marguerite D. Stevens, with documents stored initially in the defectors file before creating a separate file. This reveals the extent of CIA tracking. Though no direct link to the assassination is explicitly stated, it provides context for Oswald's activities. Internal communications, such as a memo from Deloach to Moore, dated December 6, 1963, in file 157-10014-10242, discuss concerns about information leaks and the potential removal of Warren Olney as chief counsel for the Presidential Commission, indicating efforts to manage the narrative post-assassination. Deputy Attorney General Nicholas Katzenbach assured no complaints against the FBI, working through Congressman Hale Boggs to achieve this, highlighting the political maneuvering around the investigation. File 104-10433-10209 includes articles and books from the 1960s and 1970s, such as those in Computers and Automation, challenging the lone assassin narrative and suggesting conspiracies involving the CIA, Pentagon, and Mafia. It lists works like Edward J. Epstein's Counterplot and Harold Weisberg's Oswald in New Orleans. Case of Conspiracy with the CIA, reflecting international and domestic perspectives on multiple assassins and CIA involvement, adding to the controversy. The release process, detailed in file 104-10332-10022, involved over 31 additional boxes sent for review, including 19 boxes of JFK working files, 2 on Nosenko, 7 from LA Division, and 3 from the Bay of Pigs period with ARRB, designating 22 as assassination records. The Historical Review Program, HRP, reviewed and released documents, with ongoing searches for relevant materials, highlighting the volume and complexity of the disclosure. The 2025 release of the JFK files offers new insights into the CIA's anti-Castro operations, particularly the Castro assassination plot in AmWorld, suggesting potential connections to Kennedy's death through retaliation or broader conspiracy. The withholding of information from the Warren Commission, internal communications, and detailed tracking of Oswald highlight the complexity and controversy surrounding the assassination, inviting further investigation into these newly disclosed documents. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Have a fantastic day.